Well, hello, and welcome to Get In We're Going Healing. My name's Tova. I'll be your host. Today, I am testing out, we're calling this test day. Okay, so right now I am testing out new software. I am testing out Riverside FM to multi-stream to all of my platforms at once, to my Facebook pages, to my YouTube channel, to my Instagram, that everything is live at the same time. This is new for me. I've never done this before. So it's not a perfect setup. It's just whatever's going on in my office space where I have my cards set up. We're going to pull some tarot cards. We're going to get some messages and we're going to test this out and see how it goes. I have not used a multi-stream platform before. This is brand new for me. I am testing out bugs, checking out some stuff. If you are a subscriber to my channel for the podcast, I have new guests coming. I have three new interviews scheduled next week with three new guests, various doctors in their fields, people who have been on Forbes, people who have been on like big shows. I have some amazing guests coming in the next few days where we're going to be doing a lot more talking about energy work, a lot more talking about tools you can use, a lot more talking about how to empower yourself. Some of my guests are about empowerment, how to empower yourself and grow and like work through your stuff, which is what this channel is about. And some of the guests are about different things. It's so cool. I have three new guests I'm filming next week. So you can expect three new episodes to be dropping on my podcast. If you are not already following it, you can find it on all major podcast platforms, including Riverside FM. And it is called Get In, We're Going Healing. All right. So I have multiple decks here because this is my space where I generally read from and record from. And I have 6 Oracle decks. 8 tarot decks available. So what I'm going to do, and because I'm doing this off of a multi-streamer, any comments that people are making, unfortunately, I cannot see those, not yet. I am still again, this is a test right now. I am testing to see how this works across multiple platforms. It does not allow me to see chat right now. I know it can, but I haven't yet figured that out. So one step at a time. Today we are one step at a time. So I'm just going to pull some cards for those who are watching. Again, I cannot see your comments. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. If you are on my YouTube platform or my Instagram, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video, comment if you want to. I will read the comments after the live is over, but at this time I cannot see what is going on. So I'm going to call in everyone's guides. I'm going to let them direct me to which deck. We're going to pick a deck for the main messages. We're going to pick another deck for the clarifiers. And then if I feel like the message needs further clarification, I'll let the guides tell me which one. We're going to keep this a little brief today because, again, this is just a test. This is not a full recording, a full thing. This is just testing out. There's my timer. It's just testing out some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. Okay, and when the timer goes up, we are going to be done reading. All right. All right. Angels, guides, ancestors, all those who are tuning in now, and those who will tune in on our replay, help us get clear guided messages so we know what we need to hear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashe. All right, guides, which deck would you like to begin with? All right, they want to start with my brand new Gen Z tarot. Let me just make sure I have the book here because this one is new to me. I am not a Gen Z. I am a Zennial, right between the Gen Xers and the Millennials, the tail end, 1981, so the tail end of Gen X, but also the beginning of Millennial. So a lot of this Gen Z stuff I don't necessarily know. Some I do, some I don't. I will do my best with it. To any who are Gen Z watching, feel free to correct me in the comments if I need to. I am open to learning and understanding. I don't want to be my mother in the 90s going, "You go, girl." And we're going, stop. All that in a bag of chips. You go, girl. Stop. Stop. All right. So we're going to start with our main messages from the Gen Z Tarot. Okay. So we've shuffled and let's get our guidance here. What is our collective need to hear right now, please? Oh, okay. We got a chunk. Okay. This is nice. We got King of Mood with Soft Boy. That's King of Cups. Okay, so somebody finding a little bit more vulnerability, finding a little more softness, being a soft boy. We have the Page of Swords in this deck, Page of Facts with Spill the Tea. Okay. We have Four of Wands, Four of Aesthetic in this deck with Understood the Assignment. We have Hanged Man with Let It Marinate. And we have the Magician with Red Pill. So this message altogether tells me there's a King of Cups, a masculine energy, who is learning to be on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, is Five of Swords, Five of Facts with Stay Toxic. Okay, so the beginning of this message is talking about a masculine energy who is learning to find his softness, who is learning to be more of a soft boy. This is causing a little bit of chatter. This is causing a little bit of spill the tea. Okay, this is causing a little bit of chatter amongst others. But this masculine understands the assignment. He understands what he's trying to do. He's kind of sat in it. He's let it marinate a little bit, and he's decided to take the red pill. He's decided to make the move. He's decided to take action. Okay, let's clarify this. They have directed me. I didn't even think about it before I grabbed it. The Intuitive City Oracle. Okay, Intuitive City Oracle. Okay, so clarify this message about a masculine who is dealing with, putting up with letting people talk, spilling the tea, but it's understanding the assignment, had to sit in it for a little while, but is making the decision to take some action. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. That is twice. So on the bottom of the deck, I said we had the Five of Facts, right? Stay toxic. We now have the Five of Swords. That's the Five of Facts with reconciliation. Okay. So there was a toxic energy because that's the Five of Swords, but Five of Swords upright with stay toxic. Now we're getting the clarification with Five of Swords in reverse with reconciliation and the Sun in reverse with self-doubt. Okay, so somebody has come forward for a reconciliation, but they're still doubting themselves. And I think they might still be doubting themselves because of the toxic facts that they were telling themselves. Mental strife, Nine of Swords is on the bottom of the deck. I think someone is still in a mental lock in some way, still dealing with mental strife. Tell me some more about this message. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense. So the next deck I reached for was the Osho Zen Tarot. And the next clarification that comes out is the Ten of Swords with rebirth and the Devil in reverse with unconditioning. In the Osho Zen deck, this is what they call it. Ten of Swords with rebirth. And what they talk about on this card is someone goes from the sleeping camel to the roaring lion. So you go from being unawakened to loudly awakened, but eventually find that peace. The real rebirth is the peaceful child. As you go through these stages, the real rebirth is the peaceful child. So that tells me that this King of Cups, soft boy energy, okay, this King of Cups person who has decided to take action, who's understanding the assignment, who knows what they need to do. They know that a reconciliation happened or needs to happen, and their self-doubt because they're going through a rebirth. And with the Devil with conditioning, conditioning in the reverse position, unconditioning, this card talks about understanding that you're the lion, not the sheep. Seeing who you really are and not putting on the mask, the pretend, the fake, putting on the sheep skin and trying to be a sheep. This card talks about the lion finally realizing, I don't have to pretend to be a sheep, I'm a lion. And it would be better if I just acted like a lion. So I think this masculine energy, whoever this is, I think this person is realizing that they want to be who they are. Because self-doubt here with the Sun in reverse, when the Sun flips upright, it's authenticity. So that makes me think that this masculine energy that's in a self-doubt position is in the rebirth to be more authentic, to become more authentic, to be more of his authentic self. Okay, that's great. We're going to leave this message, and I'm going to find out what else we have. What else does our collective need to hear? There's a chunk too. All right. Now we have the Five of Aesthetics in reverse with Gaslight, Gatekeep, and Girl Boss. Okay, Five of Wands generally talks, Five of Aesthetic in this deck, but Five of Wands usually talks about needing to compete, the need to compete for something, competing against someone, the energy of competition, right? That's the gaslit gatekeeping, right? Being gaslighting people, gatekeeping, trying to be in that extreme power. This is in the reverse position. So this is somebody who, this message is for somebody who is coming out of this, like, this gives me mean girl energy. Like, that's what I get off of that mean girl energy. We have the star in reverse with glow up in reverse. And we have the 3 of cups or 3 of mood with hard launch. Okay. So that tells me here that this next part of this message is about somebody who maybe they were gaslighting before, maybe they were gatekeeping before, but now they're at the point of, I'm not going to gatekeep anymore. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to gaslight, because I think that they're realizing they were holding themselves back. They're the ones who put themselves in a hopeless position. With the star in reverse with glow up, this is your glow up is paused. Okay, you're not glowing up. That's interesting. As I moved it, I didn't even notice when I put it down. I actually put it down on top of the rebirth card and covered it entirely, which is funny because we're talking about glow up, right? And the glow up is in reverse. The glow up is paused. You're not in the glow up role. As it's falling on top of the rebirth card and covering the rebirth. So that makes me think that as you're resisting your glow up, that's what's actually preventing the rebirth's movement. We have hard launch with 3 of cups, but it's like a spaceship launching. And 3 of cups is normally about celebration and friendship, but this definitely feels like more than just celebration and friendship. This definitely feels lovey vibes, hard launch on lovey vibes. Okay. So if somebody wants to move forward on these lovey-dovey vibes, maybe they realized they were gaslighting before and they were stopping because of that, and they were gatekeeping. I'm hearing only my reality is the right reality. Okay, I don't know if somebody was dealing with somebody who maybe possibly this masculine, because it is falling on top of the masculine, the King of Cups. This masculine possibly was saying my reality is the only reality and your reality isn't a reality because it doesn't match with my reality. We did see red pill, right? What's on the bottom? Queen of Wands with icon, Queen of Ascetic with icon. Okay. Is this in relation to the same part of the message? Yes. How? Pull the cards. Okay. So I'm going to take the mental strife and the unconditioning off from the last message, and I'm so freaking serious. So remember when I said on the bottom of the deck was the devil in reverse with someone realizing that they have been sitting around wearing sheep's clothing and they weren't being true to themselves, and they're realizing what they've been operating on conditioning. Underneath, when I took that off, underneath, oh my God! Okay, I'm going to pick up the deck and show it to you because this is every time I take a card off, there's something else underneath that's just even wilder. Okay, so on the bottom was the death card with transformation in the reverse position. Somebody is resisting the transformation. Again, somebody is going through the unconditioning, realizing what is actually me and what I've been telling myself I am, the sheepskin, what I've been telling myself that's who I am, but that's not actually who I am. With the death card in the reverse position with transformation, this means somebody is resisting the transformation. They're resisting letting go of who they were so they become who they are. And underneath that, this is why I went all wild. Underneath that is the world card in reverse. And this is completion in this deck. This is the last puzzle piece that needs to go in to complete the puzzle. This person who is in this process, dealing with their mental strife, dealing with the making the decision to leave behind the old life, take the red pill, see the reality, see what's really true. What they're doing is they're letting go of the conditioning where they have been stalling the transformation. They're getting that last piece of the puzzle, but they're not there yet. Now I need to know what's underneath that. King of Swords in reverse with letting go of mental control. What's under that? The Dream in reverse, 6 of Cups. Okay, so that means this person, what's happening is they're realizing that they need to let go of mental control. They're the only ones that fixes their life for them. King of Swords is about being, in this deck, in Osho Zen, it calls it control. See how all the rigid lines? See how everything is like sharp edges, sharp corners. There's no softness, no smoothness at all, right? This card talks about the King of Swords being someone who's very harsh. Very swords are thoughts. So the King of Swords is very thoughtful, like very logical, very logic minded, very everything processes through the mind, right? And notice how the imagery is all about edges, sharpness, no softness whatsoever. This card in the reverse is talking about this person. Again, remember, we started with the King of Cups, soft boy, right? So we're looking at someone who's very mentally hard, someone who's very sharp edges, someone who's very rigid, but letting go of that because it's in the reverse position. And underneath that is the Six of Cups with the Dream. And Six of Cups, the Dream in this deck, talks about this person's waiting for someone to come rescue them, someone to come fix it for them, someone to come make it better for them without them having to do anything. The Cinderella story, right? The prince comes in and sweeps her up and takes her away and gives her the life she always wanted while she sits there wistfully dreaming of it. In the reverse position, the Dream says, I'm no longer sitting and waiting for someone to come bring that to me. I'm going to go out there and make the changes for myself. I'm going to go out there and do something different. I'm not waiting for someone to bring me my dream life. I'm going to go out and make my dream. So this is telling the story again, finishing out what's on the bottom, because I haven't even gotten to this. Explain the gatekeeping and the glow up limit and the hard launch. Excuse me. Just with talking about what's on the bottom of the deck, talking about taking the red pill, talking about choosing the reality, talking about no longer living the blue pill reality of, this is the matrix, this is the limited version. Choosing to take the red pill, choosing to see where this person has been limiting themselves, where they've been wearing the mask of someone else, where they've been pretending to be who they. Oh, okay, this is crazy because this is another synchronicity. I am reading a book series with my kid called The Wings of Fire, I think they are. It's a dragon series designed for like 11-year-olds. So my son and I have been reading this book, and I'm going to finish this out. My son and I have been reading this book, and there's this character in, I think, book 4, 5. There's this character named Winter who's an Icewing, and he has been taught his whole life that Ice Wings are hard and they're like gives me very much like this King of Swords, hard, rigid, like very ranking, and like this is you bring dishonor upon your family when you are low in the ranks, and aristocrats are certain levels. And so this Icewing named Winter goes through the whole thing, and he's very rigid and he doesn't like any other dragons, and he ends up, because he's just a kid, he ends up being sent to this dragon school with other dragons, and he makes the idea is to learn to work with other tribes, and he meets these other dragons, and he starts to soften. He starts to realize, oh, the things my parents have taught me about other tribes isn't really true. They're not all these things, and maybe Ice Wings aren't superior like we thought we were, and maybe these other dragons aren't awful like we thought they were. And right now, where we're at in the book, the chapter we finished last night, because we read at bedtime, right? The chapter we finished last night is about Winter realizing that he's going from being this rigid Icewing, this rigid, like everything is regimented and you have to make your parents proud and you can never show feelings and you can never show weakness and you can never show softness and you can never be vulnerable because vulnerability is weakness. He's going this way, and he's starting to soften because he has friends, because he's learning the power of love, because he's learning what it feels like to be loved. He's learning what it feels like for people to love him for who he is, not his rank, not his abilities, not what he brings to his tribe, but for just being simply himself. And I think that's a beautiful parallel as we're talking right here about this King of Swords, this person who's learning to let go of the conditioning of feeling like he has to be non-emotional, non-vulnerable, have to be strong, have to be tough, have to, the blue pill, right? Who's been resisting the transformation into somebody softer, but needs to close out the cycle, needs to close out the ending, because he's realizing no one's going to come save him. No one's going to. He will continue to live in the blue pill reality until he decides he no longer wants to and decides to take the red pill. And I think that's what this story is talking about. If this is resonating for you, don't forget to like it. Don't forget, if you are on the channels where you subscribe, don't forget to subscribe. If you're digging this is generally how I read. I tell stories about what I see. If it resonates for you, awesome. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm just reading what comes up. Okay. All right. So now let's clarify. We're letting go of gaslighting and gatekeeping. We're kind of stuck in a hopeless position, limiting our glow up. We're not really getting there. We're not really, but we're ready to make some type of a hard launch. Tell me about this. Okay. With the Empress? Oh my God. Okay. 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 This is, are you serious? I love, we are getting repeats. So back here, we saw understood the assignment with Four of Wands, right? Four of Aesthetic, understood the assignment. This masculine energy has understood the assignment. Again, we are repeating this again. There's the Four of Wands showing up in this deck with participation. He is getting the assignment. He is understanding the assignment because what he wants is the Empress. What he wants is his Empress. And in order for him to get his Empress, he's got to participate. Participation. He's got to participate. So I think that might be, we've got Eight of Cups in the reverse on the bottom with letting go. So there's still some emotions that are being held on to that need to be let go of in this process. But it's interesting that we have the Queen of Wands is on the bottom of this deck because the Queen of Wands is like the wife card. And we've got the Empress coming up here. So now we've got like the energy of the wife and we've got the energy of the Empress. Tell me about this message of gaslight, gatekeep, and gossip and girl boss in reverse, limiting your glow up, feeling hopeless, but ready to make some type of a hard launch. Cycles of change, Wheel of Fortune, and the Magician in reverse again. No, in the reverse this time. And okay, this is some wild stuff. There are a lot of repeats. I'm using 3 decks and we are receiving a lot of repeats just with 3 decks. There are 78 cards in each deck. Some have extras. And we are getting the same echoes of messages here. So remember we saw the Magician was the red pill in the Gen Z deck. We are getting the Magician again, but this time in the reverse position with the Intuitive City Oracle. And it's coming up as trickery. We have Wheels of Change, or Cycles of Change with the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Magician in reverse with trickery. And on the bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands with hesitation. Okay. So this tells me somebody is hesitating because they're worried about this change might be a trick. That what this change that's happening, is it the Queen of Wands that's feeling that, oh, I got to chill down my spine? Yeah, the Queen of Wands, I think, is the one who's hesitating because she's worried about this change that she's seeing from the King of Swords, rigid, limited, self-doubt, mental strife, conditioning, old cycles. She's seeing that person. And then she's like, how is he going to be the soft boy, King of Cups at the beginning, right? I don't know if this is true. I don't know. But again, I want to mention we're seeing the Death card. We're seeing the lack of conditioning or the unconditioning. We're seeing Wheel of Fortune. We're seeing the World card. We're seeing, where is it? The Star. We're seeing rebirth with Ten of Swords. There is a lot of energy here that says this is real. This rebirth is real. But there's some emotions, there's some hesitation, and there's some emotions because there's some stuff, and I'm going to say some pain, because this letting go card with Eight of Cups is leaving behind old emotions that don't serve. When it's in the upright here, what I'm seeing here is this is with drops falling down, holding on, letting go in reverse, holding on. Somebody is holding on to some emotions. Okay, well then, in that case, if what we're seeing is there is a hard launch of emotion, somebody is a little concerned, they're a little hopeless, they're a little worried, but they're ready to make these changes, let's get some advice for both people before we close it out. Which deck? Okay, Energy Oracle is what I've been directed to, the Energy Oracle. Okay. Oh, there's the advice right there before I just cut the deck, and there's my answer right there. There's your advice. Happy family in the upright position, which is essentially 10 of cups, and appreciation in the upright position. The two messages here then say the advice, the piece of advice for probably both this King of Cups, who's moving from King of Swords to King of Cups, who's transforming, who's growing, who's developing. I would say that the advice for both him and the Empress slash Queen of Wands, both people, the advice for both people is to focus on the appreciation of the love. Okay. The happy family. Focus on where the joy is and the appreciation, because here we have appreciation. And this card talks about sometimes people can be surrounded by roses, but only notice the thorns. This is talking about with this, notice the roses. Notice the roses, notice the beauty, notice the joy, notice the parts of this relationship that are beautiful, the parts that are spectacular, the parts that make you feel really good. Put your focus more on that than on the thorns, because again, in the reverse, this talks about someone who's only focusing on the thorns of the roses. Stop focusing on just the thorns and see the beauty in the relationship for both people. Where someone's holding on to emotions they need to let go of, focus on the beauty and not the painful emotions. For the person who is letting go of their conditioning of who they were so they can find that softness, same thing. To find the softness, let go of all the harshness, let go of the thorns, and instead allow yourself to be in that space of seeing the beauty, seeing the joy. This is a transformation for both parties. But I want to remind you that at the very beginning, the very first cards we saw was understood the assignment. We saw spill the tea. We saw letting it marinate and see the difference and see what's going on. We saw the sun card, self-doubt, but into authenticity. There is a lot of beautiful change here for whoever this is for. So take the advice, focus on, I'm not saying spiritual bypass. I'm not saying ignore the negatives. I'm not saying, if you are in a toxic environment, only you know your situation. I don't know your situation. I don't know the details. Only you know it. And only you know what's like right for you. If you are in a toxic situation, my advice isn't automatically to run. I know a lot of people say that, but that's not my advice automatically. And here's why. This channel is all about self-healing. This is all about being accountable, doing your healing. Understand that when certain people are brought to your life, they're brought to your life because they show you something, they highlight something. So if somebody in your life is toxic, if you just immediately run to cut them out, you miss out on what they can highlight for you. Maybe it's that you are bad at boundaries. Maybe you are not good at saying, I don't like that, you can't do that. Or saying, this is the limit, I don't allow people to speak to me this way. And if that's something that you really feel you need to do, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't spend time and hang out with people who are rude and disrespectful to me. Whatever it is, saying no when you mean no instead of no, saying yes when you mean no. Setting your boundaries and your limits. What are they? What are, and sometimes we don't know what our boundaries are until we are faced with a situation where we're like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. So we may not know that that's a boundary we should be setting. So sometimes we need people in our lives who push us, who poke us, who put us in unhappy situations, because that highlights what it is that we are lacking in, areas we need some growth in. Or else, how would you know? When we say, tell me where I need to grow, Source goes, okay. Spirit goes, okay, I'll show you. I'll tell you where you need to grow. I'm going to send you this person. I'm going to send you this person who's going to exploit you, who's going to push you, who's going to poke your triggers, who's going to do all those things. But I'm going to send that person to you so that you can notice, oh, there's a trigger there. Oh, there's a wound there. Oh, there's a pain there. Oh, there's a lack of boundaries there. Oh, there's a whatever there. They are being sent to you so you can highlight what is missing, what you need to do. They are not sent there as a punishment. So if you cut people out immediately, you remove the opportunity to develop the skills that you can't develop when everything is just awesome. Everything is awesome. Sorry, ADHD brain. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome. When you live in the dream. Hey, that's the dream. That's so funny. That was the card we talked about with the dream. Everything is awesome when you live in the dream. So yeah, I think that's what they want you to focus on, is focus on that everything is awesome. Everything that comes to you is coming to you to teach you something. If you run away from it, you miss out on the opportunity for that development of growth. It's not to say that you need to allow people to treat you badly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying use that as an opportunity to set a boundary. Use it up as an opportunity to not abandon yourself. Use it as an opportunity to show compassion, self-worth, self-value, to build that. How else are you going to build that skill if you do not practice doing it? You never you don't build a skill by just thinking about, okay, Joe Dispenza talks about some stuff about you can develop some stuff by not doing it, but just by thinking about it. But in general, you cannot develop the skill if you don't work on it. So these situations call you to work on it, call you to see where it's conditioning, call you to see, is it actually what you believe, or is it what you've been taught? Is it actually how you really feel? Is it actually who you really are? Or is it what you've been taught by living amongst sheep all this time? Are you actually a sheep, or are you a lion? What parts are really you? What parts are you actually want to be you? And what parts are parts that other people cultivated in you that you can say, you know what? I don't want that anymore. I don't want that to be who I am anymore. I don't want that to be what I identify with anymore. I don't want that to be part of my life anymore. I don't want that part anymore. I'm all done with it. How do you get all done with it? You have to actually work through it. 3:21 on my clock, 3:21. And on that note, 3:21, time to go. So I hope that this helps somebody. I hope this gave you the information you needed right now, wherever you are on the stage of development. Keep going. You're doing an awesome job. Even one step is more than where you were before. One small step is still one small step forward that you weren't before. Don't feel like you have to have it all figured out at once. Just one small aligned step after another. Just keep taking those steps. Even if it takes you another week before you take another step, it's okay. It's still another step. It's better than not making any progress at all. Okay. All right, guys. So if you are interested in booking your own reading, if you are interested in getting anything done, you can book all of those things on my website at getinweregoinghealing.com. And I hope to see you guys next time. Love and light. Bye.